A Tesla sits abandoned on a Hollywood street for weeks. Nobody notices the smell. Nobody checks the trunk. Until September 8th, 2025, when impound lot workers pop it open and find the decomposed body of a 14-year-old girl inside. The car? Registered to viral sensation David, a singer with millions of streams and a squeaky clean image. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Dark Celebrity Truths. The name David used to mean bedroom pop and overnight TikTok success. Now it's linked to one of the darkest investigations Hollywood has seen in years. A missing teenager, fake IDs, a relationship nobody wants to talk about, and a body that sat in plain sight while the world scrolled past. This isn't celebrity gossip. This is about Celeste Rivas, a young girl whose life ended in the most horrific way possible. So let's break down everything we know about this case, because the truth, it's darker than anyone imagined. Before we get into the case, let me tell you who David Burke actually is, because his come-up story is wild. David didn't start as a musician at all. He was a Fortnite gamer and YouTube streamer making gaming montages, just trying to go viral like every other kid on the platform. Here's how he got into music. Back in 2021, YouTube hit him with copyright strikes for the music in his videos. He literally went to his mom crying about it, and she told him, "Why don't you just make your own music?" So he did. He started recording tracks in his sister's closet using nothing but his phone and a free app called BandLab. And it worked. Songs like Romantic Homicide and Here With Me blew up online. Here With Me ended up in over 1 million TikTok videos. This homeschooled kid went from his bedroom to touring with SZA, performing at Coachella, the whole 9 yards. He was the perfect internet success story. By 2025, everything was going right for him. He went viral again at Coachella after trying to do a backflip on stage and completely eating it. He laughed it off, announced his Withered World Tour in August, and seemed unstoppable. Until September 8th, when everything fell apart. September 8th, 2025, around 12:20 p.m. Staff at a Hollywood impound lot are going through their usual routine when they notice something off about a Tesla that had been towed there. There's a smell, a really bad smell, so they open the front trunk and what they find changes everything. Human remains, badly decomposed. At first, they had no idea who it was. The body was listed as Jane Doe, but forensic analysis eventually revealed the truth. It was Celeste Rivas, and she'd been reported missing back in April 2024. She was only 13 years old when she first disappeared. The Tesla? Registered to David. The medical examiner's report was grim. The body was so decomposed that determining the exact cause of death was extremely difficult. Okay, so let's talk about the timeline because it's honestly disturbing. The first complaint about this abandoned Tesla came in on August 26, 2025, almost 2 weeks before anyone found the body inside. Let that sink in. Here's how it went down. August 27th, an officer checks out the car. September 3rd, it gets ticketed. September 5th, it finally gets towed. Neighbors said the car had been sitting there for over a month. And here's the crazy part. During all that time, nobody reported smelling anything unusual. A private investigator named Steve Fisher actually got photos of the Tesla 5 days before the body was discovered. The car was never reported stolen. It was just sitting there, completely ignored, until someone at the impound lot opened that trunk. The big question investigators are trying to figure out is why there was no smell reported earlier. Maybe the decomposition hadn't fully started yet when the first complaint came in. Environmental factors, the sealed trunk, who knows? But it's definitely one of the weirdest parts of this whole thing. The LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division is handling this case, and they're not messing around. Now, technically, they haven't officially called it a homicide investigation yet because they still don't know exactly how she died. But make no mistake, this is serious. Right after identifying Celeste, detectives got a search warrant for a Hollywood Hills home where David had been staying. It was allegedly rented by his manager. And this wasn't just a quick look around. This search lasted 12 hours. They seized multiple electronic devices, phones, computers, anything that could have evidence on it. The house had security cameras recording everyone coming and going, and investigators now have all that footage. But here's where it gets intense. They used luminol during the search. You know, that chemical spray that shows blood under UV light? They swept floors, checked walls, looked in sink drains for any sign someone tried to wash blood away. They were investigating whether something violent happened inside that house. They also collected hair samples and fingerprints. Every device they seized could hold the key to this whole thing. Messages, photos, location data, all of it's being analyzed right now. So, who was Celeste Rivas? She was just a young girl from Lake Elsinore, California, trying to navigate being a teenager in a complicated world. But her story is marked by running away and ultimately tragedy. There's surveillance footage from a liquor store near her family's home that's believed to show Celeste on March 19th, 2024. It's timestamped just after 7 a.m. You can see someone in a black hoodie and white pants switching between jogging and walking before disappearing from the frame. The store owner said Celeste's sister actually came in desperate for any clue about where her sister went. When she saw the footage, she confirmed it was Celeste. This wasn't even her first time running away. She'd left home back in January 2024 too. She was officially reported missing in April 2024. By then, her family had already been through the nightmare of losing her before. What makes a 13-year-old run away repeatedly? What was she running from or running toward? These questions are haunting this investigation. Here's the question everyone wants answered. What was David's relationship with Celeste? Celeste's mother publicly said her daughter had a boyfriend named David. Multiple witnesses confirmed they saw them together. There are photos and live stream footage proving they knew each other. According to friends in the LA music scene, they thought Celeste was David's girlfriend. People saw them at parties together and assumed they were a couple. But here's the messed up part. Some thought she was around 19 years old. They believed she was a USC college student. Why? Law enforcement sources say Celeste had multiple fake IDs that made her look way older than she actually was. Think about what this means. If David showed up to an 18+ event with Celeste and she had a convincing fake ID, nobody would question it. But that raises serious questions about what he knew and when he knew it. Police are actively investigating the connection between David and Celeste. But so far, no charges, no arrests. The investigation continues. David canceled the rest of his tour as police investigate. He hasn't said a word publicly about any of this, and honestly, that makes sense legally. Any lawyer would tell him to stay completely silent during an active investigation. But while he's silent, the internet is loud. People are dissecting his lyrics, analyzing his music videos, looking for hidden meanings or dark clues. Was his music just art, or was there something darker behind it? And here's the twisted part. His streaming numbers are at an all-time high. He had his biggest day ever on Spotify recently, over 12 million streams in a single day. Morbid curiosity is real. People who never heard of him are now discovering his music, trying to understand the person at the center of this tragedy. It's the dark side of viral fame. Tragedy drives traffic, scandal sells, and while a family mourns their daughter, the celebrity machine keeps turning human suffering into content, into clicks, into money. In the age of social media, lies spread faster than truth. Photos of random women at David's shows have been shared online with people claiming it's Celeste. One photo from a Maryland show went super viral, but it's been confirmed multiple times that wasn't her, despite the resemblance. This is why internet sleuthing is dangerous. Well-meaning people trying to help end up spreading false info that makes it harder for real investigators to do their jobs. It can also harm innocent people who get wrongly identified. That's why sticking to verified facts is so important, especially when a child's death is involved. Speculation might get engagement, but it doesn't serve justice. So where does everything stand? Honestly, we're still in the dark on a lot of crucial details. The exact cause of Celeste's death hasn't been disclosed. The full timeline of her final days is still being pieced together. Investigators are analyzing devices, examining surveillance footage, and processing all that forensic evidence. One rumor that's been addressed, Celeste was not pregnant at the time of her death. Beyond that, law enforcement has been pretty tight-lipped. That silence isn't unusual though. They need to build an airtight case before making moves. Releasing evidence too early can destroy prosecutions. They're connecting every dot to make sure if charges are filed, they stick. For Celeste's family, the wait is torture. They have her remains back, but they don't have answers about how she died, who's responsible, or why this happened. And they've had to watch their daughter's death become a trending topic, with amateur detectives dissecting her life online and misinformation spreading everywhere. This case raises some really uncomfortable questions about celebrity culture and how vulnerable young people are in spaces they shouldn't be in. If the relationship allegations are true, how did a 13-year-old end up at adult parties where people thought she was college-aged? The fake ID thing is particularly troubling, but let's be crystal clear. Regardless of what IDs she had, regardless of how old she looked, the responsibility is on the adults. A 13, 14, 15-year-old child cannot consent to a relationship with an adult. This also shows how fame can protect people from scrutiny, at least temporarily. How long was this going on? Did anyone in David's circle know Celeste's real age? If they did, why didn't anyone step in? The entertainment industry has a dark history of protecting powerful people at the expense of vulnerable ones. How many people knew something was wrong but stayed quiet? How many chose their career over a child's safety? Look, At the end of the day, this story is about a child who lost her life. Celeste Rivas was 13 when she first disappeared, 14 when she was last seen, and 15 when her body was identified. She should be starting high school right now, hanging with friends, figuring out who she wants to be. Instead, her family is planning a funeral. This investigation isn't over. The LAPD continues working the case, examining evidence, interviewing witnesses, building their timeline. When they have enough, when they're certain, they'll act. Until then, we wait. I'll keep covering this as new information comes out, but I'm only reporting verified facts. No sensationalism, no wild speculation, no adding to the misinformation that's already out there. Celeste deserves better than being turned into clickbait. If this video was informative, hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated on this case and others like it. We expose the real truth about celebrity culture, the dark side of fame, and the stories that get buried beneath the headlines. For Celeste Rivas, for her family, and for everyone seeking answers, we'll keep searching for the truth. Because this case proves one thing: fame hides everything until it doesn't.